Hello, and welcome back to Dela's Voice Sunday Live Talk Show. The courage to come back. Watch this.
This is the story of Michael Coss, Canadian born and raised in a loving family surrounded by everything he wanted. On May 18th, 2006, catastrophe struck. Michael and his family were in a horrific car accident. Everyone was hurt. Michael was comatose for 6 months. Doctors gave them almost no hope, but Michael's parents refused to believe that. They found out about hyperbaric oxygen therapy. After the third treatment, Michael opened his eyes. And the rest is history. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome, on Dela's Voice, Mr. Michael Coss.
Michael, hello.
Good morning, Dela. How are you this morning?
I'm doing just fine, Michael. Thank you so much for being here.
It is absolutely my pleasure to be here to inspire others, to share my story with them as well, and to wish them also happy holidays. I wish the best to each one of you and your families as well. And as we enter the holiday season, Dela, thank you.
Oh my gosh, thank you for that. And Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you too, Michael.
Thank you.
So isn't it incredible that we find out that you lived in the town I live in now?
Yes. Right now I live in Vancouver, BC, but as you know, I began my journey early in Toronto, Ontario, and then we moved to Newmarket, Ontario, where I played ice hockey. Grew up as a teenager there, so that's ironic that we both come from the same city.
It's very, very funny, and it just goes to show you how small this world is, right?
Yes.
So Michael, thank you so much for being here. You inspire me so. And when we met on a different platform, on I think it was Speaker Slam, and I saw you, my first thought was, "Whoa, this man is incredible. What a story. What an inspiration." And so, this world is filled with unique people who have so much power. I call it super power, because I believe that you're a superhero to live what you live and to do what you do. And it's incredible. It's incredible. And so when we hear stories like yours, Michael, our whole perspective changes. It touches us in our hearts and in our souls, and it allows us to see beyond what we see, and it allows us to um, do incredible things. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you do every single day.
My pleasure, Dela. As I mentioned before, I believe my purpose in life now is to provide hope and inspiration to others who may be going through a difficult, rough waters in the sea, etc. So my mission in life now is to give people hope, to give people purpose, to give people drive, and to never, ever give up. I'll
Never
just say
ever.
this though as well. I'm now 15 years post accident, and I continue to this day to make small but noticeable progress with my recovery, whether it's breath by breath, step by step, or inch by inch, because I have purpose, I have drive, and I have tremendous support as well. So, anyway.
So in the clip, I had said the rest is history, but that's not true. It's the rest of the story that we want to talk about today.
Yes.
What happened after the accident is what's truly inspiring. And I want to go back to your parents first and foremost, and first of all, congratulate them for the amount of persistence and resilience they had, but just the amount of hope that they wouldn't give up. And so they did their homework, and they got you this incredible treatment called hyperbaric oxygen therapy. And I want to ask you a little bit about that, actually, if you
Yes,
don't
yes.
mind, Michael.
Go ahead.
I never heard about that until I
Yes.
heard your story. Why is
Yes.
that? Why don't we hear about this?
That is a very good question, Dela. My father, when I was in a coma for over 6 months, a gentleman by the name of Dr. Pack and Dr. Lee, everything came to see me in the hospital, and they told my father that HBOT, or hyperbaric oxygen, would help me awaken from my coma. So my co-workers at Molson, Canada, raised over $30,000 for me to undergo this type of treatment, because Dela, as you know, our medical system here in Canada does not recognize that as a treatment for traumatic brain injuries. So I went into the chamber 5 days a week, accompanied by my mother, who was by my side. And my mother had one role. It was to place a wet sponge of water in my mouth that would trigger me to swallow, which would equalize the pressure in my ears. Because, as you know, a hyperbaric chamber is extremely high pressured oxygen. I was carried in on the stretcher by the BC paramedics, as back then I was not even able to sit up, eat, speak, etc. I was in a coma, and I woke from my coma on December 24th, 2006, after undergoing just 3 treatments of oxygen.
Oh my
I,
God, what a Christmas present that was.
that was the best. That was the best present I could ever give my family,
Oh my God.
friends, the people that supported me, the people that fundraised for me to undergo this type of treatment. So that was the best Christmas present I could ever give to them, my children, etc.
Do you remember that day, Michael?
I have no recollection of the accident 6 months after that. All I remember was when I first initially went into the hyperbaric chamber. That is pretty well my memory came back to me, but I don't remember Dela at all waking up from my coma. The only thing that I was able to do back then was to move the pinky finger on my right hand like this. That was the only. I could not sit up. I could not stand. I could not speak. I could not eat, as I was on stomach 2 feet. So I had to relearn everything like a newborn child again.
That's
Eating, bathroom, showering, dressing myself, etc.
wow, wow. So you wake up from the coma after the third treatment,
Yes,
and the doctors realize that you can move your eyes.
yes.
What's the level of hope at that point? Because initially they had said, "Oh, there's little hope. Take Michael to a place where they can take care of him. He's never going to be able to walk. He's never going to be able to do anything for himself." And then this happens, and incredibly, miraculously, this chamber works, and so you wake up from your coma. So what are they saying at this point?
And I'll share this with you. When I woke up from my coma, I was what they call in a total fetal position. I was curled up like a ball. My knees were up to my chest. Elbows were like this.
Mm-hmm.
So then, 15 years of wearing splints to straighten out my arms, my legs, etc., to have relearned the basics again. Where now, basically, to this day, only my left arm is somewhat still affected. It's still in this somewhat position like this. Like, but before as I said, I was curled up into a ball like a newborn child who's just born into this world. So like I said, that was the beginning of my recovery. HBOT was the beginning of my recovery. It's been 15 long years of various therapies, physiotherapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy. The list goes on and on. But to this day, I'm becoming the man you see in front of you now. I'm able to speak, talk, be part of my children's lives, etc. I'm able to
Walk.
give walk,
You can
yes,
walk. You can climb stairs. You can do all these amazing things.
yes,
This hyperbaric oxygen chamber costs a lot of money, and obviously is not available to everybody
yes.
for monetary reasons. Michael, you're doing something that to bring a little bit more awareness to this, and to help people who can't afford it. What have you been doing?
Well, because I was very fortunate to be able to have family members, co-workers, friends across Canada to fundraise for me to undergo this type of treatment. Between you and I, they raised over $30,000 for me to undergo this type of therapy. So what I done then is, when I woke up from my coma, I said, "Hey, I want to make a difference." I wrote a book. My book is called The Courage to Come Back. It's to give hope, it's to give people purpose, to give people drive. But I also started my own foundation, which is to assist children to undergo the same type of treatment that gave me a second chance at life. So basically, Dela, I'm a very grateful brain injury survivor who's had so much support from day one. And now this is my way of giving back to others through my book, which I see now on the screen. I wrote that book using my laptop, typing letter by letter, word by word, page by page. And now it's available for people to give hope, to allow people to smile during these turbulent times of COVID-19.
This book, Michael, which I'm going to show you again. I want to make sure that people please go buy this book, The Courage to Come Back, Triumph Over TBI, A Story of Hope by Michael Coss. The link to the to Amazon.com, where you can purchase the book, is posted within this the text of this program. So please go find it and purchase Michael's book. When you buy Michael's book, the proceeds will go to help provide the hyperbaric oxygen treatment for kids with head injury, you said, Michael, that can't afford it. This is a big cause. I hope you go and buy Michael's book. Michael, it took you 5 years to write this book with one finger.
Yes.
I just want to reach out and hug you right now. You have... Oh my gosh, we both talked about this, didn't we? Michael said he has a box of Kleenex handy, and I said I do too.
That makes two of us, Stella. That makes two of us.
This is incredible. These are tears of joy, Michael. And I'm so blessed by knowing you. I'm going to take a moment and gather myself and go to the comments. Let's look at the comments, Michael. Oh my goodness. Oh, there's so many people on here. I want to thank every single one of you for being here. And Michael wrote, everybody happy holidays to each of you. This is what I'm saying. You see that you're so kind. Okay. Deborah is here. Deborah's an incredible woman too, also a stroke survivor, Michael. Frida is my mom, and she's watching. Maureen Coss is here. She's your aunt. She says, he's my nephew. We are so proud. Allison is here watching from YouTube. Robert B is saying hello. And everybody's so excited. Colleen is here. Sarah's here. Aaron Avila is here, another stroke survivor. my friend from Stroke TV Media. I believe you were on that show, if I'm not mistaken, Michael. Deborah
Yes.
says, Michael is the man. Shanna Stevens is here, and she says, what a wonderful mission, breath by breath. Yes. And Stephen Albright is here. I believe another survivor. Michael is the perfect person to inspire. Deborah says, Maureen Coss, he is Oh, this is to your aunt. He is absolutely such an incredible man and inspiration to many. Aaron says, you can never fail if you never stop trying. Boom. Lori Whitney is here. Everybody's like, wow, wow. Sending love and prayers from Lori. Thank you for sharing the love. Robert says, that sounds like something to uplift the foundation and level things out. Deborah says she's in tears. We're all in tears. I think everybody's in tears. Everybody who's watching is in tears, Michael. Deborah says, this is another Deborah B. She says, awesome, Mike, to watch you grow and continue to pay it forward over the past 8 years is a beautiful story. Lovely to see you again. Our stories never get old. They just get stronger and stronger. Reaching a global market, the world. Yeah, Atusa's here, and she says inspiring. Atusa lives in BC. She's in your neighborhood. Robert says those are my favorite kind of tears. I don't know if we can get through this. So all that to say that look at what you're doing. And I mean, you already know what you're doing. Michael, I asked you what the most difficult part of your journey, of your life has been. And I want to let you answer that. It wasn't learning to do all these things again. You said, and I don't know if you remember, if you don't, please let me remind you. You said it was losing the people in your life, some of the relationships. Can you talk about that a little bit? Take your time.
Before my accident, I was what they call a social butterfly. I was employed at my Molson, Canada, here in Vancouver, BC. I was what they call an extrovert. I had friends, family members, teammates, etc., co-workers around me. I was like the glue that held everybody together. Then my accident happened on May 18, 2006. And basically, I lost the bulk of my friends because we have different focuses, different responsibilities, etc. My focus at that time was just to be able to breathe, to speak again, to be able to eat, to relearn how to walk. So, as you can see, Dela, we had different priorities, we have different lifestyles. My life is different than many of my ex-friends, etc. And that's why I lost contact with many individuals. But now, due to the power of Facebook, email, I can reach out to people across Canada, share my story, interact, etc. Yesterday, for example, Dela, I went to lunch with 5 of my former co-workers from Molson, Canada, where we had a good chit-chat. We talked about the life 15 years ago, etc., when I used to work with those individuals. So anyway, many people have gone now, but few have entered into my life now at the moment. But I'm a grateful brain injury survivor, and I want to thank those people for coming into my life and sticking with me. And to the ones who have exited my life, I would like to wish them all the best of success for the upcoming year. I want everyone to stay healthy in this new world of COVID-19 as well.
You know, thank you for that perspective and your input. When a lot of people can relate to this, if you've been through a hard time, if you yourself have been through something devastating as an accident, or even you're a caregiver to someone in your life, it's it's normal to feel isolated and alone. Uh, it's normal to not to want to socialize with other people. It's normal to feel like people around you have left you, and that can leave you feeling um, very lonely and hopeless. And so you can relate to these words that I'm saying, Michael, right? And so my question to you is, what do you say to someone who may be going through this right now and they feel alone, and they feel like everyone has left them, and they feel like there's no hope? What would you say to them?
I think the message that I would like to share with those individuals, Dela, is this: anything is possible when you believe. So, if you have a loss of friends, if you have loss of faculties of being able to do certain things, if you have hope, if you have purpose, if you have drive, you will eventually be able to surround yourself with things that you were once able to do. And now, as I mentioned before, I'm now 15 years post accident. I continue to this day to make small but noticeable progress with my recovery because I have tremendous support, as I mentioned before, and a few friends around me. So when you have purpose, when you have drive, when you have support, you can make things. There is always light at the end of the tunnel. That's what I would like to say.
There's always light at the end of the tunnel. You heard the man. Michael, um, what do you do every day to keep yourself so motivated and so um, willing to move on? What's your driving force?
The symbol, the driving force that I have within me is because I continue to see progress to this day with my recovery. 15 years later, I'm still making small but noticeable progress, whether it be my speech, walking, balance, etc. So, as I should say, that is one of my driving forces. But the other driving force, Dela, is my two twin children.
How old are they now, Michael?
They're now 16. They're soon learning how to drive. And they were just 6 months old when I had my accident back in 2006. Now they're 16. Actually, Dela, I'm 5'11" now. My son is 1 inch taller than me.
Already.
My kids used to visit me and look down at me like this because I was in a wheelchair. Hi, Dad. How are you, Dad? What's new, Dad? Now I have to look up to my son. Hi, Nathan. What's new, Nathan?
So they're very much in your life.
They're very much in my life. My daughter is now playing competitive soccer on the team here in Vancouver, BC. She's one of the elite players. I go watch a game once in a while as well. My son was involved in basketball at school where I would go watch him in their sport, so I still am very much a part of their lives from a distance. And
Yeah.
I'd like to say this,
Yes, go
their
ahead.
mother Anne,
Yeah.
their mother Anne Although we're not married to this day, we still remain the best of friends to this day because we care about our continued progress of both of our children. So we're the best friends to this day because we are.
She must be a very courageous woman too.
She's a very special woman, yes.
I can't imagine
Excuse me.
being left with infant twins, having to raise them, and the worry a mother goes through. Twins, oh my gosh!
Yes.
I mean, those must have been real hard times for her too. So I'm glad that you've stayed friends. You said best friends.
I would say that we're very good. We're almost the
Very good
best of
friends.
friends. Yeah, I go to their home, Dela, every Sunday because right now I live in a group home here with 5 other brain injury survivors, where we have 24-hour support with meals, clothing, helping us with our bedding, things like that. But my point was that I go home to the ex-wives every Sunday to have dinner with my children, with Anne, with her new husband as well. So we
Amazing.
talk about our week, we talk about our upcoming week, etc. We're able to share stories with one another, and they are able to see the continued progress of their father, who went from a wheelchair, power wheelchair with a headrest, as I was not even able to support my head back then. So 5 years in the power chair with a headrest, 2 years in the manual wheelchair, 2 years walking with a quad cane with 4 prongs, then to a single cane. And now I don't use a cane here in the house, where I'm very at ease in this environment. But if I go out to the bank, out in the public, I use my cane, of course.
Michael, you are you. I think I know this about you from the stories and the bios that I read, that you always have been very competitive. So you grew up with two boys, and you played hockey and all sorts of
Yes,
sports, and you had this competitive edge to
yes,
you.
yes.
How did that
yes.
help you in your journey of recovery?
That's a very good point, Della. I would say that my younger years growing up as a teenager back in Newmarket, Ontario, growing up in Quebec City as well, when I played ice hockey, baseball, soccer, the skills that I learned back then and the traits that I learned back then is what gave me the competitive nature that I have today, to always want to win and to be number one as well. And my early years, sporting years, translated into my later years working for Rothman, Benson Hedges, James Sutter Meats, and finally for Molson, Canada, where when I had my accident back in 2006, I was working for Molson for 8 years before my accident, in sales and marketing as well, and was promoted just 6 months before my injury accident. So,
Mm.
back to your point, I would say that my younger years, growing up in sports, playing hockey, etc., and my later working years, working in sales and marketing, allowed me to develop the skills and the traits that I have today in my rehabilitation. I continue to this day to let you now, as I'm 15 years post accident, to have the same drive, to have the same passion, same purpose. I get up each day with a smile on my face. I don't ever get down on myself because I always see small but noticeable progress, and that's what keeps me going, Della.
Oh, amazing. Oh, this is that we have we this is such a big lesson for us, because we get stuck in little negative self-talks, uh, be, because we look at ourselves and say, and I'm talking about me now, oh, I'm not where I should be, or I'm not where I wanted to be, but this age or whatever, at this point in my life, we forget to look at the big picture, to where we started and where we've come from and how far we've come. And if we could just remind ourselves to look at the big picture, and really empower ourselves in those little steps. For you, it's incredible. I mean, you just went through that for us, and now you're walking, Michael. I mean, I saw you walk to go look for your book. It's incredible. I think it's miraculous, and it's so inspiring. I'm gonna go to the comments for a moment and see if
Sure.
anything was added. Oh, there's a lot added. Um, we are going to open up the phone line in a moment, and if you have any question for Michael that you would like him to answer, please feel free to call or leave it in the comment section. But also, if you have anything to add to the show and any words of encouragement, any experiences of your own, we would like to invite you to call the show. I will display that number in a moment. Lori says you still are a social butterfly, Michael. Here, here you are with your wings blowing in the wind to all of us. Thank you for sharing the love and your amazing journey. Um, oh, look, Robert B says Molson Export was the very first beer I had that I actually liked. That didn't make me heave. Legacy, Michael, legacy. Jack says it's always through hard times that we find out our true friends. I think going that that is true. Um, People come back, people leave our lives for a reason, and then new people come into our lives for another whole new reason. Um, Deborah says, Michael, and my incredible friend, I just need to say thank you. May God continue to raise you up. Lori says, keep crawling like a worm is what I say, because you soon will gain your wings through moving forward, no matter what. Maureen says, he was the king at Molson, and now he leads the way for so many people. He is our champion.
Dela,
Yes.
can I just share with your audience?
Yes.
One second. Can I just share with your audience?
Yes.
Maureen Coss. She's my aunt from Montreal. And when I was in my teenage years going to college, I went to a place called LaSalle College where I learned the studies of becoming hotel management, which moved me out to Jasper, Alberta, then to Vancouver, BC. But I lived with Maureen back then in her apartment, and I stayed with Maureen for, I believe, 1 full year. So I went to school during the day, came back at night to the apartment to see Maureen. And Maureen was my aunt that allowed me to stay with her, which allowed me to pursue my education in those days and those times. And to this day, Maureen still keeps in touch with me, etc., through email, Facebook, etc. So I'm really glad to have Maureen as my aunt, and I'm very proud to introduce her to every one of you. Thank you. Merci, Maureen. Je t'aime.
Oh, so sweet. So sweet. Lori says, I find myself being happy tossing something simple as a balloon in the air. I still have the same energy, but having trouble keeping it floating in the air without touching the ground. LOL. Sue says, I have known Michael for the past 15 years, and I can say that he is a remarkable man who has come a long way in his journey. I'm his friend and will continue to be. He has let go of his past and embraced each new day with such joy and positivity. Love you, Mike. Who is Sue McCrimmon? Who is she?
Sue McCrimmon was the manager where I used to live in my former group home. When I was living life out of a power wheelchair, they used to have to bring me into the bathtub with a sling, lower into the tub, wash, etc., come back into my wheelchair. But I knew too early in my recovery when I first relearned how to eat, when I first relearned the basics in life, like how to use a toilet, use a washroom, etc. So Sue and I go way back, as you just said, Dela. She said 15 years.
Wow. Okay, so here's the phone number. Here's your chance to call in the show and talk to Michael, and let us hear your words of love for him. I'm gonna turn on the phone, make sure I hear whoever's calling. Michael, what do you want your kids to know about you? Okay, wait, I think it's your aunt. Let's hear your aunt first. We'll go back to that. Thank you for calling Dela's Voice. You're on the air. Hello.
Dela, can we hear that or what?
Can you hear her, Michael?
I can't hear.
Okay.
I can't hear. No.
Hold on one second, making sure that we are connected. Michael, you said you can hear her?
I can't.
You
no,
cannot.
I cannot.
Okay,
I can hear you, but not your phone calls.
Okay, one second.
Okay.
1 second, Maureen. I'm gonna make sure. Okay, what about now? Can you talk? And let's.
I still can't hear the.
Oh, I don't know what's going on here. Hang on. No. Wait, please. I'm gonna make sure. Okay, hold on. I want to make sure he can hear you. So let me see what is happening here. Can our viewers hear? But you should be able to hear. Hang on.
I can only hear you, Dela, at the moment.
Okay, what can you say something, Maureen? Let's see if. Can you, Michael? Can you hear her now?
No, I can't hear.
Okay, all right. So you're going on speaker, Maureen. So now talk. Okay, go ahead, Maureen.
Okay, so no, I'm just going to say, hey, Michael, you can't see me, but I see you. I love you very, very much. And I want to tell everyone that he's still there. He's the same guy he was before his accident.
Only better. He's touching the world.
Oh, well, he's our champion. I'll let other people talk. I love you, Michael, and I'm talking from all the family.
Thank you for calling in, Aunt Maureen.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Dela.
Bye. Au revoir.
Dela, I just heard a bit of French there. Is that the only French you know, or what?
Oh no, je parle français très bien, Michael.
Oh, okay. Oh, well. We should do the next show in French the next time. Moi, je parle très bien le français aussi.
Peut-être on va faire un show en français.
But Dela, I would just like to share this with your audience as well. Maureen, I used to live with her, as I mentioned before, in Montreal. She owned a car, a Renault 5 gray car, and we used to go sur la route 20 de Montréal at Quebec. We'd go every week from Montreal back to Quebec City, so I'd be able to spend time with my brothers, my parents, etc. But Maureen was the one that drove me from A to B over those years when I went to college. So Maureen, I want to thank you for those roots on that good day.
We got another call, Michael. Hold
Okay,
on.
go ahead.
Thank you for calling Dela's Voice. You're on the air.
Hello, Dela. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Deborah, my dear.
Can you guys both hear me okay?
Yes, you're on speaker.
I can, yes,
we
Deborah,
can
go
hear
ahead.
you.
Well, I want to say, my heart is just blowing up today because, Michael is such an inspiration. The passion that you find, Michael, in the small things in life and the gratitude is what I am all about. And it's just such an inspiration to watch you and your passion for what you feel for your family and the people that have stood by you is absolutely beautiful. But my one question to you would be, a lot of people don't have that, and they find themselves alone. What little piece of advice would you give to those who are alone through this kind of darkness and fear and the unknown?
That's a great question. I would just have to say this, that as I mentioned before, there is always light at the end of the tunnel, no matter.
Can you hear me?
Now we can. There was a little feedback.
Oh, okay. Did you guys hear my question?
Yes, we heard your question. A little piece of advice, something to help people who are in need.
Who are alone and don't have the support of family and friends. Because I hear that a lot. I have so many stroke survivors that reach out to me and are alone and don't have that support.
Yeah.
And my heart reaches out so much to them because they are alone. And a lot of them, the only thing they have is, someone like myself or somebody in another stroke group that can be there for them.
Yes.
So I was just wondering what Michael's advice was. And I'm going to let you go because I'm sure there's a lot of people that want to call in, but great show as usual. And God bless you both.
God bless you, my friend.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
I'm sure we will not talk until next week. Week after next.
Week after next. We'll love you. Love you, Deborah. Bye-bye.
Love you too. Love you, Michael.
Thank you very much for your comments. Thank you.
Okay, so what do you
Dela,
have? What do you have for Deborah?
what I'd like to say is this, Dela, what I've done in the past and what I will continue to do now, because I've had so much support, as I just shared with all of you the last 15 years, is now I want to volunteer my time to go speak in schools, to give people hope, to give people drive, to want to make them the best they could be in their own situation. So I will go back to your last question from your last participant. I would say this, that there is always light at the end of the tunnel. There's always brighter days ahead for you. And no matter what your situation is in life, whether you're a stroke survivor or brain injury survivor, there is always light and there's always better days ahead. As I mentioned before, I keep making progress to this day in my recovery, and that is my driving force that allows me to keep moving ahead step by step, inch by inch. So fine, I lost, but I have gained so much more as a person, as a human being. And now it is my turn to give back to others for all the support that I've had the last 15 years. So a special thank you goes out to everyone who was involved in my recovery from day one.
Michael, what are some things you do during the day? Like let's say, are there some tools that you use, some special self-care tools that you use for yourself?
I would say this, Dela, that I am set up with my laptop computer on my desk, set up with the daily agenda that keeps track of all my appointments, So I know when I get up on Monday morning that I'm going to the gym, which I do now twice a week. I go to the gym twice a week,
Oh
accompanied
my
by
God,
someone.
commitment. We have so much to learn from you.
Well, Della, my rehab involves 6 days a week of either going to the gym, physiotherapy, working with a kinesiologist. I have some kind of activity 6 days a week. Sunday is my 1 day of rest per week. So back to your question, Della, I use simple things like agenda, schedules, Facebook, email to keep track of my life, appointments, upcoming things, etc.
So you've really learned how to use this technology to your advantage.
Well, as a brain injury survivor, you get disconnected from mankind, from basically society, so you have to be able to be flexible. You have to be able to be learning to adapt to new ways of doing business, etc. So these tools allow me to keep in contact with friends, coworkers, etc.
So, thank you for that, Michael. Lori says, I took care of a police officer for a few years that was in a horrible accident, leaving him a paraplegic. He didn't give up, and I helped him climb along the way, doing more things that he thought what was possible.
Yes.
Having faith and positive energy is simply a beautiful blessing and sends the body healing. Do you agree with that?
I would agree with that, yes. Like when you're surrounded with big time support, like I was very fortunate to be blessed with, when you have good values, when you're a good human being before your accident. I would say this, Della, that I am now a better person than I was before my accident. When I'm shaving in the morning or brushing my teeth, I like the person that I see in front of me in the mirror, staring right back at me. If I had to redo my injury all over again, I would redo it in a heartbeat to become,
Wow. That's a big statement, Mike.
sorry, to become the man that I am today, because I like who I see now.
Oh, man. That's a big statement. So you would have gone through all of that again to become who you have become.
Now, as I mentioned before, the reason why I say that is because when I'm doing the simple things like I talked about before, because I like who I see and who I've become as a result of my accident injury. If it weren't for the accident, I would not become who I've become today. I've now volunteered my time to go speak in schools to give, as I mentioned before. So if I wasn't presented with my accident, I would not have been blessed with having those positive moments of pleasure speaking in schools. As you see behind me, the front page of the province newspaper is when I won the courage to come back award back in 2012. Back then, before my injury, I was, as I said, working for Molson, very social, very outgoing. And that day there, Della, I had to go give a speech to over 1,500 people at the Vancouver Trade and Convention Center.
It's
And
incredible.
that went very well.
It's incredible.
So,
You've done so much in your life, Michael. You like the person you have become today. You like him. You like the person you have become. You like the Michael today more than you liked them before the accident. Hmm. So you believe that you had to go through all of this to learn some valuable lessons. What are those lessons?
well, Della, like I said before, I really like who I am now in front of the mirror in the morning, and that is because I've had to go through what I've had to go through the last 15 years. If it weren't for my accident, which was May 18th, 2006, I would not have been able, had to relearn how to breathe. How to breathe from my lower stomach rather than my upper diaphragm, because before Dela, I was only able to say one word per breath. Hi, Dela, how are. So, see, I had to relearn the basics that we all take for granted: how to breathe, how to eat. As I was on the stomach to feed, so I had to relearn how to swallow again. I needed thickener place in all my beverages. Dela, you'll laugh at this, but I first had to relearn how to eat on a pure A diet where all my food had to go through a blender. Bzzz.
Yeah.
Try putting a T-bone steak through a blender. So now I had everything for probably the first 5 years. It was all pure A consistency. It was like yogurt. I had to eat that for, I'd say, 6 months. I had to retrain the muscles on how to swallow again into my esophagus and then eventually into my lower stomach. So, see, Dela, now I can just about eat anything I want to.
Oh
I
my.
need to thicken it before I use a cough, and with especially drinking water, because water is a thinnest fluid that you have to relearn how to drink. Coffee was okay, juice was okay, milk was okay, but water was very difficult. But now, to this day, I can drink about anything I want to.
Okay, first of all, this has been like a learning curve for you because look at everything you've learned about. I mean, your stroke, but what your body needs, how you need to treat your body. But what I hear, Michael, is that you don't take anything for granted anymore, and that to me is incredible. From the breath you breathe, from the food you eat, from the things you see with your eyes, from what you hear with your ears, everything to me it sounds like you've learned to appreciate it. We got a phone call. I think I figured out the problem and that should be okay.
Everything.
Can you hear me?
It sounds like you learned.
Hi, Dela. Yes, this is Shanna.
Hi, Shanna. I would ask you to mute the show so that we don't
Yep.
hear feedback. Thank you.
There we go. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks so much for calling. Can you hear Michael? Can you hear Shanna? Awesome.
Again, yes.
All right. You're on the air, Shanna. Go ahead.
Wonderful. I just wanted to call in and say thank you to Michael for sharing your story. He just had contacted me through a group, and I am so inspired. I'm here in tears, just remembering to take the little things in life, and cherish them. And I shared his book with a friend of mine who's gone through traumatic brain injury, and I'm just in awe of everything you are. And thank you so much for reaching out to me via technology. And I'm grateful for my new friend, Michael. So continue doing everything you're doing. You're inspiring so many people and touching so many souls. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Yes.
This
Wonderful.
is a tearful show, I tell you, Shanna.
Yes. Absolutely tears of joy. You just keep doing it, Michael. You're amazing. Thank you. Such an inspiration.
Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dela. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye, Michael. Talk soon.
Bye for now, and thank you for joining the show. We'll be in touch.
Oh man.
Dela,
Yes.
can I just share this with you?
Yes.
It is comments like we just heard right there that keep me putting each step forward. Like what? So anyway, sorry, it's comments like that that fuels the fire within me to keep pushing forward, to keep stepping, to speak, to wanting to speak clearer, more slowly, more comprehensible, etc. It's comments like that.
Well, I think you're doing fantastic. I have not had trouble understanding you one little bit. And English is not my first language, and I'm still okay. I
But
can.
I just learned one more thing that you're able to speak French as well. Moi aussi, je parle très bien le français aussi.
Il faut faire un show en français. Vraiment.
Ah oui, ah oui.
Ah,
Je vais être très fier de faire ça pour vous, yes. No problem.
Michael, we're almost out of time. It's incredible how this hour has passed so quickly, and there's been so much love, and uh, I can't express my gratitude.
Della, can you just share maybe my link that's available for the world to see on YouTube? That has my story, pictures of the accident, has me in recovery as well. If you share the link to my YouTube link, that would allow your audience to learn more about my journey of recovery, and that I would be really honored to share that with you. If you can do that, please.
Of course. Of course. I will put that into the text of the show so that it's available for everyone to see. Michael, I before we leave, I asked you a question and unfortunately you couldn't answer. It was hard for you to answer, but are you willing to answer that question? I asked you, what do you want your kid?
No,
No.
I think we'll skip that.
Okay. All right. Okay. We'll skip that. What I know is they already see such an amazing man. Um I mean, if what do we want? I have a son, and what do I want my son to know? What do I want my son to remember me by? What do I want to leave as a legacy? It's not things. I want him to remember me and be proud of me. And I think that's the dream of every parent. And you're already doing that. You've accomplished that. You've done such a great job at that, and you keep doing it, and you continue being an inspiration. So, thank you. I want to give you a couple of more minutes because I know you have some people you want to thank. Do you want to take that minute now? Okay. Should I read some comments?
Yes, go ahead, yes.
Okay.
Let me get my breath.
Oh, Deborah's
So,
new resolution for the new year is helping Michael find speaking engagement. Isn't that
say that again, sorry.
so? Deborah's New Year's resolution is helping Michael find speaking engagement.
Oh, thank you, Deborah. You know what? I'll share this with your audience as well. One of the most positive experiences I had was roughly 1 month ago in this world of COVID-19. I was asked to speak to a group of 100 fourth year kinesiology students. I went there accompanied by my rehab assistant who helped me walk down the stairs as there was no rail for me to grab on the wall, so I held her arm. I walked down the stairs step by step. I delivered. It was a presentation for 1 hour where I spoke from the heart of my injury, my accident, my recovery, etc. So that, Della, I that experience there gave me the purpose, gave me more drive, gave me more thought of what I want to do long term. besides my rehab, I want to do things from a vocational point of view to inspire our youth, to give people hope, to give people drive, etc. So that is what I want to do more of besides my weekly rehab activities where I go to the gym now twice a week, where I have physiotherapy once a week, where I work with students twice a week as well. So, as apart from all this stuff, I want to give back to others by going to schools, organizations, etc., to speak, to shed tears of joy, etc.
And the more you speak on stages like this, the better, the more practice you get. So I think Deborah's New Year's resolution is fantastic. I think we need to get you speech after speech after speech.
Dela, can I share with your audience this? This is recently a new goal of mine, but I want one day to walk up on stage and to go speak at the TEDx event.
Yes.
So right now, I'm just getting my thought process, like what do I want to speak about, etc. I decided that my subject or my main topic will be this, audience, etc. What is your purpose in life? And then I'll talk about my younger years, my years growing up in Quebec, in Ontario, my high school years, sports, my working years later on, my marriage, my twins, my accident May 18, 2006, my years of recovery afterwards, what involved. So anyway, my message that I want to leave my audience is this. What is your purpose in life? That will be my message that I want to give.
So Lori says about speaking on TEDx, ask and you shall receive, Michael. I can see you on there. It's so clear to me. I can see you walk up and walk on the stage and rock that stage, Michael.
Thank you.
And don't you forget, when you're famous, don't you forget Dela.
Don't forget that I was on Dela's voice one
Right,
day in my younger years.
right? Michael, thank you so much. We're out of time, and it's been wonderful talking to you. I'm
Oh,
so blessed that you chose my show, and I can't thank you enough for being here. So, do you want to send some gratitude to those people in your life that you told me about?
yeah. Okay, if I think back to each and every single person that was involved in my rehabilitation from May 18th, 2006 to this day forward, at first it was the people who responded to the scene of the accident, the paramedics, the ambulance staff, the firemen, the policemen, etc. I want to start off by thanking each and every one of the for the roles they played, inserting the trach breathing tube into a throat, being transferred via air to Royal Inland Hospital in Kamloops, then being transferred from Royal Inland Hospital to New West, BC, near my family in Coquitlam, to Royal Columbian Hospital. I want to thank all the doctors, nurses, support staff that aided to attend to my care back in hospital in those early days. And then after that, I would like to thank each and everyone who was involved in my rehab, speech therapists, occupational therapists, staff that lived in the group home where I lived for a number of years since my accident, who taught me all the skills on how to be independent again. Now, one name comes to mind. I want to thank a gentleman by the name of Dr. Pack. Dr. Pack was the individual who came to see me in hospital with another doctor who was a chiropractor, I believe. And he told my father that time that if he undertook hyperbaric oxygen, that would help your son awaken from his 6-month coma. So I want to thank Dr. Pack for his advice to my father during those bleak,
Whoop whoop, Dr. Pack.
dark, during those bleak, dark days. So accident, physiotherapy, people involved in my rehab, people in the various group homes, etc. But now I would like to also thank the people that who need hope, the people who need inspiration, the people that are on the show today. If you can spread my message of hope, if you can spread my message in my story to give other people determination, etc., that is the last thing that I would ask all of you. Always remember this, that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and there are always nice, bright days, even in this trying uncertain times of COVID-19. So thank you, Dela.
You're welcome, Michael. Thank you. Um, Michael, how can people reach you?
I think the best way, Dela, would be is if through my email address. If you have any questions from this point on that your audience has, maybe they can be directed to you and your show, and then you could pass them along to me, and then I will reply back to you and or the questions or comments after.
Okay, we can arrange that. So if you need to reach Michael, message me right here. And actually, Michael is also
I'm
uh,
on.
tagged on here, so you can find him on Facebook and under Michael Coss. I think
Yes.
Facebook is a really good place to connect, right? And so connect with him, get his book, um, buy his book because the proceeds are for something fantastic. And this whole hyperbaric um, chamber treatment, well, hyperbaric oxygen treatment,
Yes.
HBOT,
Yes.
is something that may save somebody else's life as it did Michael's. And Michael's book, when you buy it, uh, all the proceeds go to help provide that therapy for the kids with brain injury that cannot afford this therapy. Michael wants to say something. I may.
Then can I just say this as
Yeah.
well? I think my book would be the ideal stocking stuffer if ever you
Oh,
need
good plug, Michael. Good plug.
to.
If you order right now on Amazon, it should get to you right before Christmas. Thank you, Michael. It's wonderful. The courage to come back, the triumphant story of Michael Cost. I'm so impressed by you, Michael. Thank you so much. It's very
The thing I
yes.
would like to share as well with you and your audience is that now, as you know, in this new world of COVID-19, I'm able to access Zoom. So if ever anyone has any questions, wants to have a chit chat via Zoom, I'd be willing to do that, whether it's from coast to coast, city to city, with this new
Across the
technology now.
world
There you go, across the world.
in French or English.
Comme ci, comme ça.
Comme ci, comme ça. Michael, thank you. I just love you. Thank you so much for spending your Sunday lunchtime with me. Well, it's actually morning in where you are, so it's your breakfast time with me. So I want to thank every single one of our viewers for being here with us, for spending your time with us, for your comments, your encouraging words of love and compassionate, and for sharing this talk with other people who may need it, who may be in need, who may need the hope and the inspiration. God knows there's a lot of people who need it right now. And so the next time you see someone who's struggling with a disability, take a moment and look that person in the eye and remember that they may have a story just like Michael. I love you so much, Michael Coss. Until next time, thank you so much, everybody. This has been another Dela's Voice, hoping to spark your soul. Merry Christmas and happy holidays, everybody. This is Dela Fotoohi, host of Dela's Voice Sunday Live Talk Show, wishing you a Merry Christmas and a happy, healthy, and prosperous 2022. In gratitude and love.